Whew, all right, here we go. Sting number 14. I am literally a captive audience to this man. He talks out loud to himself all day long. Okay, so now before you're like, oh my God, I keep mentioning this. It's like in every single one, this has got to be like the number one greatest hits thing of all of this and the most irritating thing of all. Because like I said, it's out loud narrating his life, talking about everything he's doing, thinking that everything he's doing is interesting to me and whatever, and it just was completely obnoxious. Even when and especially when I'm here. Okay, I guess I don't actually have any evidence to support, especially when I'm here, because when I'm not there, I don't know what's going on, right? But it sure seems like it's a show he puts on for me. At first, I used to think that he was actually talking to me about everything under the sun, but as time wore on, I eventually stopped allowing myself to be interrupted. When he's working on TVs or scrutinizing his coins or reupholstering a chair for Jane or whatever else, he tends to glance over at me from time to time to see if I'm paying attention. It's like he thinks I'm being treated to an episode of DIY live on stage or something. It's just very distracting and tedious when he actually starts talking to me because he just flows into it. Now, here's something that was kind of funny. Like when um, before I moved to Hawaii and I was at home for a few weeks of the summer, my brother and I were talking about the difference between like being wanted and needed, and how like a lot of times it seems like people will think that it's better that they want you around instead of needing you around. And my brother was, he's like, oh my God. He's like, it's dad when he's working on the truck or when he's working on the tractor. We're like, my dad is a pretty handy dude, right? So like if something breaks down on the vehicle, he can just fix it himself, right? So like, we're car people, right? So he'll be like, dad will come in and call upstairs and say that he needs my help. So I go down there, but then he proceeds to just go back to work on the truck himself and he's just talking to me. And eventually I'll ask, I'm like, do you actually need my help with something or do you just like want my company? And he's like, well, he's like, I guess like I just kind of want your company, but like, isn't it better to be wanted than needed or something like that? And that basically my brother had to tell dad like that's cool that like you kind of just want company, but like sometimes I'm actually doing stuff. So like when you say that you need my help, I come down to help you, but then you just want my company. What I was doing myself was actually important. So that when you lie about needing my help because you want my company, it's actually kind of rude. And I was like, I was really proud of him for this because at this point my brother was only like 16, right? So it's like now you're an unruly teenager. But no, but I was like, no, that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Is when people will use this, I need your help just because they want you to be the person who's doing it. And that how just completely rude that is. And I feel like this that's going on here, this Fight Club, I feel like this bleeds into it. Um, for certain reasons that I'll keep personal and won't disclose here, I feel like this is something that my dad started, and that the reason that I'm doing this particular role is because he wanted his own child to be the person that did it. Like, if you wrote a play and then it's going to be put on Broadway, and you really want your own child to play the lead role because you always wanted to be an actor, but instead now you're a playwright and now you want your own child to do the role that you wrote or whatever, and somehow like this is where things get weird, but then it's like you basically just arm twist or like it's to get your kid to do it. Right. So that it's like whatever this is that I don't know is going on. This is part of why I feel like it would have made sense that I should have known what was going on. And at some point that it's like this is a major, major blind spot, like fuck up snafu of this is the I can't believe you just fucked your child's life up in order to play the starring role in your weird ass undercover homelessness Truman Show bullshit. Like, I can't, and it's overwhelmingly heartbreaking and disturbing. There's a part of me that feels like if I take that perspective to heart and really think about how that makes me feel or like what it makes me think of or whatever, um, it's just heinous, right? It's so bizarrely hurtful and abusive that it just absolutely breaks my heart because I really cared about my parents and my family. I really did. And then they left me here to rot and play Try Not to Die and spend 5 years living with this prick and not even call or talk to me or notice that I was missing in their lives, right? For 4 of these 5 years, I didn't talk to these people and they didn't even try to reach out to me. Like, I don't, I just, and I've had difficulties with my, but it's like from what I've seen and noticed of what other people say, our relationship hasn't really been that much different from other families, right? So it's like, um, and if anything, a lot of the frustration was coming from this, right? Where it's like, I don't understand why you guys never like call me. It's like, hell, damn near everybody else I know talks to their parents like once a week. I talk to y'all like 4 times a year, and you never call first. Like, you never make any kind of an effort to have a relationship with me, you know? And it's like, I've mentioned this several, I was like, it's just very weird. And things, and then it's like now it's at a point where like when they do reach, it's like I'm so over it and done. It's like when my mom emailed me on my birthday, I just wanted, like, I ended up blocking her the other day because she emailed me to find out. She was just called, like, oh, checkup, like, oh, just seeing how you're doing. Did you get your car fixed and find a place to live? And I'm like, I know when I explained in an email what happened, I know you know that I don't have a car anymore. That's actually like how that was instrumental to how I got fucked over. So then to ask me, because like I said, they don't pay any attention to what I say, right? So that it's like, to now ask, like, did you ever get your car fixed and find a place to live? How would that happen when my car was repossessed months before I was ever evicted? It was instrumental to how my landlord fucked me over. Like, and like I said, I'll go into these details when I talk about the whole situation, but like basically, um, and so I just responded, and I'd even been thinking myself, I'm like, I don't even know if this is really my mom. And so I just responded with, like, I'm doing, what you emailed me for my birthday, which was January 23rd, and was like, oh, happy birthday. Hope you're having a good time and everything's cool. Like, blah, blah, blah. We love you, mom and dad. And I just replied and I was like, yeah, it's amazing. And then, like, a hibiscus emoji, and that was it. Right? Love you too. Bye. That was it. So then when she emailed me the other day and said that, I just emailed back, I'm doing as fine as I can. Because I'm like, I'm not giving them any details about my situation because I don't trust who the fuck this is. But like I said, these are details for this next story, right? So whatever. Um, she emailed me back and she said, I was going to bless you with my yearly giving, but since you don't seem to have a need and everything is fine, we'll just let it go. And you seem to be doing okay. And judging by your short response, um, you must be very busy. Um, and something about like, I'll just let the Lord tell me what to do in His time and whatnot, and got really weirdly religious about it. And I'm like, okay, look, like, you don't even remember or comprehend what my story was to know that the questions that you were asking me don't vibe with reality. Um, this weirdness of like, I was going to bless you with my yearly giving. I don't know what the hell that is supposed to refer to, right? And then, oh, that's what she had also said, something like, I can't even be sure that this is you. There's just so much scamming and stuff that goes on nowadays and blah, 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 blah. So I'm just like, It's like everybody is so weird. Right, then I'm like, you know what I've got to do? I have to just do it. I have to block this email address because if this is my mom at this point with everything that's happened and what my life has actually been like and whatever, like I cannot have these people in my life anymore. Right? You left me here to play Try Not to Die on an island and have not given a fuck about my well-being or anything for now going on 14 fucking years. Um, Last time when I talked to my dad and I asked him, I'm like, do you even know if my brother is still alive? And he's like, well, no, I mean, I guess I know. I was like, when's the last time you talked to him? Like, do you even know, like, where your children are? Because he had called me when the Maui fires were going on and was asking me about if I was impacted by that or if I could see the smoke and stuff. And I'm like, no, it's like they're on a whole entirely different island. The island's like 150 miles away. Oh, I don't know where it is. And got all snippy with me. And so I just exploded and laid him out. Told him to go to hell and hung up the phone. And that's the last time I will ever speak to my father. I used to love being a daddy's girl. And now I fucking hate the man and I'll never speak to him again because of this shit. I feel like that even if and when like somebody would explain what's really going on or what the hell all this is, um, I still won't care, right? I mean, it's kind of, they said like, oh my God, but like someone has been writing us letters claiming to be you and telling us everything was fine and to disregard what you were saying on the phone or something like that, right? I don't care because that wasn't true, right? So like I don't it's like given what I've actually been going through and that they've actually just neglected to acknowledge my existence and stuff, right? I don't actually have any real interest in reconciling with it. It's like I would like to, but then there's the part of me in the back of my mind that it's like you need to respect yourself enough at this point to realize that they could easily lie and bullshit their way back into your life and just fuck you over again. Right? I feel like it's very much like the ending of Joe Dirt, right? When you finally do find your parents, they're gonna just be assholes anyway. Right? It's like kind of, don't you already kind of know that that's the truth? But yeah. Anyway, back to DIY live on stage. It's just very distracting and tedious when he actually starts talking to me because he just flows into it. In the midst of talking himself through whatever he's doing, he will randomly interject things like, what do you want to eat for dinner? Or anything you need from the store, as though I'm listening to his streams of consciousness. There's no attempt to get my attention in order to speak to me, even when I'm wearing my headphones. I've stopped responding when he does this in order to force him to get my attention so as not to reinforce the noise nuisance. Okay, like my own repetitiveness is starting to bother me. But I feel like that's a good thing because, like I said, a lot of this was just getting it out. I feel like it's almost kind of like sucking out a poison or like continually cleaning. It's like continually cleaning a wound so that it doesn't get infected, right? So it's like kind of like emotionally and psychologically that it's like these things that I've repeatedly written about were actually just the most aggravating elements, right? And it was like in the moment continually dealing with this. Like I said, I feel like that's a really, really good metaphor for it. I was having to continuously clean out and re-bandage this psychological wound that he just kept inflicting with this horrible behavior. So I'm sitting here watching Celebrity Big Brother while playing Summoner's War on two different devices when I hear him say he's going to get the mail and he heads for the door. Then I hear him ask me if I want the window closed. I look at him and shake my head. He looks at me dumbfounded as I continue to shake my head, and I realize that he doesn't understand that I'm refusing his offer. I pause CBB, take out my headphones, and he immediately repeats his question. Okay, so he thought I couldn't hear him, not that I was saying no to his question. Dumb fuck. Okay. Do you want the window closed? He asked again. No, I'm fine. You can close it if you want, though, I reply. No, I mean because of the noise, he retorts. First of all, if I wanted the window shut for any reason, then I wouldn't have said no to the question. There were no qualifiers. A simple yes or no would have sufficed. Easy peasy. This is a perfect example of what I mean when I say that he embellishes upon reality in ways that he perceives makes other people less intelligent and himself more so, but it's all in his head. We were going to have cheeseburgers tonight, so that I was getting so lazy too then with like just with the cooking and the preparing dinners and stuff. 'Cause, and I remember that too towards the end, especially then when I was working for the census and I had money. Dude, we ordered DoorDash so much during the last like few months that I was there because I was just over like doing anything for him. Like, well, I was also working like 80 hours a week too. So it's like there's that. Like when I'm getting home at 9:30, he's already had to fend for himself anyway. But my point is just like at some point, like I had just completely given up. I was like, I'm so over this shit. Pot pies instead. Like I would at first I would make a lot of like kind of stuff from scratch and like meals and what, and then it eventually was like nope, frozen dinners and ordering DoorDash and cheeseburgers or hot dogs. I'm like I'm over it. I could barely be bothered to make hamburger helper. Right, and whatever. It was like and like even seasoning the food. I was like I just don't even care anymore. So I was like drinking so much too. It's like I'm so drunk I won't know the difference of whether it's bland or not. I don't give a shit. So we're gonna have cheeseburgers tonight. So I took out the Ziploc with the two meat patties in it, initially to defrost just enough to pull them apart in a bowl in the sink, and then I'll put them into the refrigerator for the rest of the day. But they will never thaw stuck together, right? It's kind of this funny thing. Yeah, it's like so I would put them in the cold water in the sink just until I could pry them apart. They had like wax paper in between, right? So like just until it was thawed enough to pry them apart, and then I just put them in the refrigerator to finish. Anyway, that's the gist. I know what I'm doing, and I'm doing it. I have never given him reason to have wavering confidence in my food handling abilities or any other ability for that matter. Jackass went into the kitchen to make himself some toast. I'm sitting here, minding my own business, watching Survivor with my headphones on. I can still hear him ask me if I want to put the meat in the refrigerator. No, I deadpan. If I wanted it in the refrigerator, I would have put it in the fucking refrigerator. I don't understand why he can't ascertain what the fuck is going on from context clues. He's a grade A dunce. But wait, there's more. His response? To just leave it out? No condescending tone or anything, just asking for clarification by asking the question that is the fucking implication of my response of no. No, just leave it out. He seems to have a weird obsession with asking me if I want him to do something different with meat, any meat, no matter what I do or don't do with it, no matter what is going to be done with it in the near or not so near future. The only thing that he seems concerned with is asking me if I want him to change the status of the meat from where I put it in the first place. It's incredibly bizarre. I know that I have mentioned this before, likely more than once. That's because it's so ubiquitously frequent. You're irritated reading about it half a dozen times? Try living through it 600 times. The water jugs, and how there had been a new shaped one for months, but out of the blue he asked about it. He asked why it changed. I said, yeah, so it was like uh, kind of, I want to say it was like a taller, like narrower container, and then at some point they made it shorter and like wider, right? Like so, just think like of the big like 1 gallon water jug cylinders. Um, I said IDK, but that we got it a few months ago when we replaced one of the other jugs. I then commented on how it's easier to get in and out of the fridge, to which he replied, no, it fits nicely. This bad habit of prefacing conversational statements by negating what the person speaking just said. Also, the tendency to interpret what he doesn't understand in a negative light because he deludes everything in favor of himself. That's obviously like where I was just getting to like send notes. But like I said, that it's like that he had this conversational habit of starting sentences with the word no. That he had to have been picking because there's people that do that. It's kind of it's like using like too much. Um, that some people kind of pick up this bad habit of so like no, but it's da 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 da. No, but it's cool. No, but it's da da da. Like no, but right. Like no, no. Like this weird like negging in the positive sort of I don't know how else to describe but he would do it in the sense too of like thinking that you didn't understand what he was like no but da 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 no but I was like why do you start with no for things that anyway but that is the end of 14. We only have 15 left since that was pretty short. I don't know. I've already said that there was going to be 15 parts, so let's just keep it going. So I will see you immediately in 15 and be done with this. Oh, okay. Bye.